Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. Gardner Minshew, the world's sexiest songbird, may finally be freed from his cage in Jacksonville so he can spread his mullet and soar to new peaks. Perna. I don't just love Gardner Minshew because he's the man I wish I was, or because we all know what his O-face looks like, but because he's a sneaky good quarterback and he may be great on the right team. So yes, the Jags are finally willing to deal him, according to ESPN. And so today we'll talk about that price and where he may go. There's already bad news, though, for the Chiefs and their new-look offensive line. The NFL is finally ready to talk marijuana. R.I.P. Barry McCockiner. And poor Adrian Dater is getting roasted on Twitter for asking an all-time bad question to Nathan MacKinnon after the Avs playoff elimination by the Golden Knights.
Just fuck it. We'll just go in next year and just not think that anymore.
And by the grace of God, Ryan Fitzpatrick is also in this episode. Minshew and Fitzmagic on the same day. Keep it together. That's good sports. Please, for the love of God, do not subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by buyraycon.com/thatsgood, which will save you 15% when you use my link below. Summer has arrived, which means two of my favorite activities are back. Lathering my body in sunscreen and power walking with my Raycon earbuds in. My aggressive power walking style not only makes my neighbors nervous, it causes too much head bobbing and weaving. But with Raycon's noise isolating fit, my earbuds comfortably stay in place while I listen to the world's longest audiobooks. The wireless earbuds have up to 6 hours of playtime and come in a variety of colors to match all of your summer tank tops. Raycon has a 45-day free return policy, which is half the dang summer for you to test them out. 45 days of power walking with Raycons, and you'll be down at least a dress size. So click my link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/thatsgood to get 15% off Raycon's earbuds, which are already half the price of other premium earhole speakers. Yes, I heard Deshaun Watson still wants to play for the Broncos. Demanding to play for the Broncos, according to Kareem Jackson, who was on the Aqib Talib podcast.
I've been talking to him the last couple of weeks, man, and like all he's been telling me is like, look, Jack, just tell him like, that's where I want to be. Like that's where I want to be. I'm like, man,
he see the setup, the line straight. He see the setup.
He like, man, listen, that's why I want to be in Denver.
I already talked about that at great length on my podcast channel, That's Good Broncos. So if you want to check that video, you can watch it there. Link somewhere, probably. But the real nugget, the gem I found, was learning that John Elway is Aqib Talib's all-time favorite boss.
Yeah. You already know I gotta come holler at John, man. That's my favorite boss ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, he'll probably never be my boss, but I guarantee Ryan Fitzpatrick would be my favorite boss. And somehow Fitzmagic's beard seems like the safest place in the world. I thought that long before this cicada ever decided to climb in and get his picture taken with Fitzpatrick. If I were a cicada, obviously I would hop into that beard without thinking. I'd also nestle myself inside of Gardner Minshew's mullet, and if Aaron Rodgers ever grows that mustache again, I'm there. Two places I would never nest? Oh God, no, not in that unibrow. And oh, fuck, no, definitely not there. Okay, I keep seeing Jameis Winston tweets trying to encourage Saints fans that Jameis Winston is working harder than ever to be a good QB. Today, I saw an opening day game tweet that Jameis Winston is even hungrier as he embraces a second chance with the Saints. Honestly, if Winston is hungrier than this, I don't want to see it. As we might witness the first man in history to completely self-cannibalize. Unless it's the Marshmallow Man, I don't want to see that. Running back Todd Gurley is choosing between the Lions and the Ravens. If Gurley still believes in himself, he should sign with the Ravens. No offense to my favorite coach in the league in Dan Campbell and that new beastly offensive line, but if Gurley can tap back into any part of what made him arguably the best runner in the league in 2017 and 2018, the Ravens will put that to use better than almost anyone in the league. Now, I need to clear something up. Something that really bothers me. It's your shit-ass quarterback evaluations on Twitter. Now, I love you guys, but if you think Gardner Minshew is the reason the Jags were the worst team in the NFL last season, you don't know dick about football. That defense, you know, the one all the good players abandoned, gave up 30.8 points per game, second most behind only the Lions. But yeah, Matthew Stafford probably sucks too, right? Points per game, yards per game, Lions and Jags, the worst. My point, throw 2020 out the window for Minshew and the Jags and burn that shit in a sacramental campfire. Some people believe Jacksonville benched Gardner because he was bad. That's not true. No, he was playing very well. Then he fractured and strained a ligament in his throwing thumb on October 11th. Finished that game, played in 2 more games where, yes, he didn't throw that well. The dude wants to be on the field and compete so bad he didn't even know he broke his thumb, and he thought he had just a slow healing bruise. And even then, he still only threw 1 pick. 1 pick with the fucked up thumb. He also looks pretty good on this random passing chart I found. Sure, it took me 3 days to decipher, but the more blue you see, the worse the quarterback is at passing. Minshew is a light orange throughout. Then we've got my Drew Lock. More blue than you'll find inside of a Smurf's asshole. If you want to make yourself real crazy, look at all of that orange on Deshaun Watson's line. All that bright, bright orange. Even the film nerds love Gardner Minshew, okay? So yes, I fucking hope Drew Lock takes that once-in-a-generation Josh Allen leap this year. But it's not called once-in-a-generation because it happens every damn year. So I apologize for thinking the guy who played superior in a far worse situation might be a better option for my team. Once Pro Football Reference adds Horsecock Lock to Drew Lock's nickname, I'll be back on board. And on board hard. Until then, I like Mustache or Jockstrap King Minshew. That said, the Broncos will not make a play for Gardner Minshew. They burned that Bridgewater 2 months ago. So I have to move on to the teams that might actually be interested in trading for the Jockstrap King. Basically, look at the teams with questionable starting quarterbacks for either this season or in 2022. Right now, the Jags would consider a 5th or 6th rounder for Gardner Minshew. I'd pay a 3rd rounder for him, easily. The price is right. And we also learned that the 49ers nearly traded for him before deciding Trey Lance was their guy. But what the hell does Kyle Shanahan know about quarterbacks and offenses? Enough to lose 2 Super Bowls. The Colts are a popular team people mention because, it's basically a 1-year test for Carson Wentz. But I don't like Minshew in Indy because they've had such great luck with quarterbacks. Except for Luck, who retired early. But Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Johnny Unitas, they don't need Minshew. Another popular match, the Carolina Panthers. Also don't like this fit because Carolina couldn't get things going with Teddy Bridgewater. I'm also not sure a competition is what Sam Darnold needs to succeed, and I want Darnold to do well there. Here's a personality match made in heaven, the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell and Gardner Minshew. That's the kind of combo that will force the Lions to ban women from any team-related activities because the amount of testosterone coming from that duo is getting any woman within a 100-foot radius pregnant. The only way this isn't a good fit is if Jared Goff excels in Detroit or Dan Campbell notices Minshew's lack of arm strength and decides that's not alpha enough for his team. Minshew has Drew Brees-like arm strength, which obviously held Drew Brees back from ever doing anything significant in the NFL. The prosperity match where Gardner could get rich? The Steelers. I'm scared that if Aaron Rodgers is forced to play one more year in Green Bay, he's going to choose the Steelers when he does leave Green Bay as his next team after Big Ben retires. Behind Roethlisberger, the Steelers have Mason. I'm lucky Myles Garrett didn't scoop out part of my brain like a veteran Cold Stone employee Rudolph, Josh Dobbs, and Dwayne Haskins. In other words, they don't have a replacement for Roethlisberger. That Steelers team is perfectly built for a QB like Minshew. Gardner's best attribute is not throwing picks, which could have come in handy against the Browns in the playoffs. Their offense is already conditioned to not go deep, and the Steelers' defense is incredibly talented. They can keep games close, and if Najee Harris is the truth, and Pittsburgh has one more offseason to retool that line, I love a perennially good organization like the Steelers to be led by Gardner Minshew. All right, shout out to Avs beat writer, Adrian Dater, for asking this question.
Nate, I know you're a gamer and all this, and I'm just thinking maybe out loud as far as in your shoes right now. It's like, all right, we've done all the thinking we can do, we've done all the game planning we can do. Maybe, just fuck it. We'll just go in next year and just not think anymore and just win this thing when we don't think so much. Am I on the right path at all with this? Like maybe you just guys think a little too much?
Oh.
Last one here for Nathan. Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
First of all, anyone who works fuck it into their alleged question is a hero in my eyes. Second, we do not need to interview players immediately after horrible losses. Give the guys 24 hours to process that shit. I know it's great entertainment, but there's literally only one question that can be asked after a playoff loss, and that is, why the fuck didn't you guys win? So instead of piling on guys like Dater for having the balls to just ramble instead of asking a garbage question nobody cares about, let's free athletes from these forced post-game pressers after postseason losses. Now the NFL is finally ready for dat weed. The NFL and the NFLPA announced they will issue grants up to $1 million for research into alternative pain management, which will include cannabis and CBD through their Joint Pain Management Committee. This is per Kevin Seifert at ESPN. And yes, I do see the irony of having a Joint Pain Management Committee which has refused to allow joints to be used for pain management. But this is finally a step in the right direction for the NFL, who has allowed, nay, enabled players to pump themselves full of narcotic, addictive painkillers for decades and inject their bodies with dangerous levels of Toradol to play through injury. I don't think the NFL needs to spend $1 million, though, to learn what we already know about weed and its ability to help with pain management. I mean, the NFL could just use that $1 million so Josh Gordon has enough money to buy enough weed to play through the 2021 season. And that's a conservative estimate. Now, it might just be an amazing year filled with awesome incomplete passes from Patrick Mahomes. As Pro Bowl guard Kyle Long, who the Chiefs signed coming out of retirement, suffered a lower leg injury this week. The injury is expected to keep him out of training camp, but Long is also expected to be back in time for week 1 of the regular season. So kind of a good news, bad news situation for the Chiefs. Now, after the Super Bowl last year, where KC's offensive line got severely bullied by Tampa Bay, the Chiefs cut their 2 longtime injured starting tackles and decided to rebuild. Kyle Long was a big part of that, and so is Joe Thuney, Orlando Brown, and Creed Humphrey. A lot of talent, but these guys have never played together and won't get a chance to do so until Kyle Long is good enough to go in September. O-lines are kind of like a starting 5 in basketball. They have to build chemistry, and Kansas City hasn't even had a basketball team since the 80s. To make matters worse, Andy Reid was out at practice, hobbling around with a cane due to a knee injury of his own. And it's not because he got in the car with his son. The horrific Super Bowl loss, Kyle Long's body already falling apart, and now Andy Reid struggling to walk? I think the Chiefs are starting to have to pay off their debt to the dark world for their Super Bowl victory. Either way, even though I hate the Chiefs, it makes me a little sad to see Andy Reid limping around like that.
Fuck it.
Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. And yes, the Tom Brady Lego destruction video is coming next week. The edit's almost done. The destruction is epic. I think you're gonna love it. I might do a live stream reveal of it Sunday.